Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and yes, it is really me Stacy. I have got my Mary Poppins hat on today because for the last 2 weeks I have been dressed as Mary Poppins Jolly Holly Mary for the Southern California shop hop, and when deciding whether to do this demo or not, everybody's like, oh, dress as Mary Poppins, and I thought, well, I'll show you the hat, but to wear the whole white outfit and with what I'm working with today, maybe not a good idea. So just quickly, the Southern California shop hop is where 40 stores all over Southern California get together, and loads of great gals hop from store to store to store with a passport, and every store is a different theme, and obviously we're Mary Poppins. So I love my hat. My SMS girl Yvette made it for me, and I have the whole white dress and everything else going on, and it's been a fabulous 2 weeks. We have one more weekend to go, and then we're all done, and my Mary Poppins costume will go by way of my previous costumes, which were Mrs. Claus and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So anyway, for those of you who didn't get the opportunity to come see me as Mary Poppins, here's a little preview of what I did. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started for today. I'm gonna take my Mary Poppins hat off now. And we'll get started for today. Today we are working with foils by Spellbinders. We get a lot of questions, what's the difference between the foils and the shimmer sheets? So I want to answer some of those questions for you and also show you some do's and don'ts with the foils that maybe you didn't know. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tilt on down and we're gonna get started for today, okay? Down we go, bye. All right, so what do we have for you? Oh, let's see if I can make that a little bit better. What do we have for you today? Well, let me see. We have got foils by Spellbinders. And these foils are sold in packages, and they have pastel tones and jewel tones. Here's the jewel tones and the precious metals. And we've used these before, and we get a lot of questions about them and why they are different than a shimmer sheet. So just like my paper YouTube, I'm going to try and explain the difference between the foils and the shimmer sheets, because there is quite a big difference between the two. Let's start with the foils. First off, it is a foil. It almost feels like a thick aluminum foil, and when you bend it, it stays where you bend it. Okay? Big difference. Move to a shimmer sheet. It's mylar. You bend it, it goes right back. Okay? It is a plastic, so it does not stay in the shape you bend it to unless you fold it and crease it. Okay? Foil. Foils can be cut with Spellbinder dies or wafer thin dies. They can be cut. You can put it in your Big Shot machine and this will cut through with a wafer die, a Spellbinder or a Sizzix framelit, any type of a wafer die. And of course a wafer die is a die that is this thin. Shimmer sheets cannot be cut with a wafer die. You can try it. Sometimes you may get lucky. It will definitely put an etch mark into your shimmer sheet that if you then wanted to go in and fussy cut, you could. But 9 out of 10 times, a wafer die will not cut a shimmer sheet, even though it's this thin. And that has to do with the fact that it is a mylar, a plastic. So shimmer sheets will not cut. Now they both are non-porous materials. So you can use alcohol inks on both. You can use Copic markers on both, and stays on ink on both. You can even use Bic markers or permanent markers, Sharpies, anything like that on both. But there is a difference when you use the alcohol inks and things of that nature, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. And we are going to start with the foils. So I really like the foils, and what most people are concerned about is that it gets dented. And it's like, yeah, that's okay. If it gets dented, no worries. If you're die cutting with it, when you are done die cutting, you're not going to notice the dents. They're going to come right out. You're going to be fine, and by the time you're done inking it, it's even better. So today we're going to use the alcohol inks, we're going to use the Copic markers, and I want to show you how to use the alcohol inks best with your foil, because there is a trick to it. There is a technique to it. So I have got my foils here, and they come in loads of different colors. First thing you need to know is this gold part is just a coating. The foil is not gold all the way through. The backing of it is silver. And if I were to take, let's just say I took a little bit of my blending solution, my alcohol ink blending solution, and I put it on my foil, what's going to happen? That coating is going to rub right off, okay? That's using, if you were to use your blending solution, your alcohol ink blending solution, or your Copic blending marker or blending solution for your Copics. See how that has rubbed right off? This foil is not gold all the way through. It is actually a silver foil with a gold coloring placed on top. So that means when you use your alcohol inks, you have to be a little bit careful. You're not going to use your blending tool like you normally would. In fact, I don't use a blending tool at all when I'm working on the foil unless I'm using the silver side, because that blending solution is going to take this gold right off. So if I'm not using a silver side, if I'm using a gold or one of the pastels or the copper, I do not use my blending solution, with the exception of just maybe a little teeny bit on a paper towel. I absolutely do not use my dauber. And how I go ahead and I use the alcohol inks, and these are by Ranger. They're Tim Holtz alcohol inks. They're very similar to a Copic marker. They're both alcohol-based products. So you're going to get a very similar effect regardless of which one you use. I literally just drop it. Drop it right onto my foil. And I just let it move. And you're going to think, oh, mud. Well, not really. By the time I'm done, you'll see it's really not mud. Kind of move it around, put some extra drops. But I don't want to use my tool here, which you normally would, because when I go to start to dab, it's going to pull that gold look up. And I want that gold look underneath. I want that rich look. Let's add a little more green. A little more green. Now you can go in there and you can take a paper towel or something and you can kind of blot it around, but you can see I'm already starting to pull up the silver. The gold is coming off and silver is coming through. So I really just like to drop and move. And I know you're thinking, oh, that just does not look good at all. But wait, there is no bad alcohol ink. You really can't make mud. It's okay. So I might just take that and blot that up a little bit. See how that looks? Not like much of anything. But when I take it, and let me see if I've got a dry one here. I've got a dry one here. When I take it and I put my dye on it, I've got I think this might be a Heartfelt Creations die. When I put a dye on it and I cut it out, let's grab my Sizzix Big Shot machine, because we all know the Sizzix Big Shot machine is the die cutting machine here of choice at Scrapbooking Made Simple. So I've got my Big Shot machine and I've got my multi-purpose platform closed completely because of course a spellbinder or a framelit, a Sizzix framelit, is a wafer thin die, and I am using a wafer thin die. So I'll put my platform down, put my do not cut plate down, because that you always want a plate that keeps your surface nice and smooth. I'm going to put my die face up, and when I mean face up, I mean that little ridge. That's the cutting. That's what's going to cut my foil. Put my die face up, my foil down, right onto my die, and my second cutting plate, second clear cutting plate, and then I'm going to send it on through. And it has cut my leaf. Let's pull it out. So I took that yucky, what didn't look like much of anything, and I turned it into a gorgeous fall leaf. Absolutely beautiful and so easy to do. Just let your alcohol inks do the work for you. If you really want to go in there and you want to move them around a little bit, it's okay. Just know that you're going to eventually expose the silver. Some of that silver is going to come through. See if I blot it off while it's drying? Some of that silver is coming through because it's lifting that gold coating off. And then if you want to just add more, you just add a little bit more and kind of just let it run. And then once it's dry, you can cut it to make really pretty things. Now, like I mentioned, you cannot use your spellbinders with your shimmer sheets. It will not work. Shimmer sheets is a mylar, and if I put this on here and I try to cut it, it's just going to etch it. It's not going to cut all the way through. So one of the main differences between the Spellbinder foil and the Elizabeth Craft shimmer sheets is that the Spellbinder foils will cut with a wafer die, a Spellbinder die, a Sizzix framelit die. It will not cut with a shimmer sheet. Now when you use the alcohol inks on the shimmer sheets, if you're using an iris, well, if you're using any of them, same thing. The blending solution is going to pull that color right off and expose what's underneath. Do I have one where I've done that? Let's see. Thought I did. Let's just do one real quick. So here on the green, you put a little bit of that blending solution down, and if I rub it, you can see it's taking that coating right off. So when you're using your foils or your shimmer sheets and your alcohol inks, you really want to avoid using the blending solution unless that's the look you're going for. Otherwise, you would drop your alcohol ink same way and just let it kind of spread on its own, move it around, but don't go in there so much with your blending tool because that's going to start picking up the finish of the mylar, of the shimmer sheet, or of the foil. So here we have the one, here we have another one that I was working on, and I could put this right down on it and cut, and it would make a beautiful leaf. Just like that. Very simple. The main thing to remember when using your shimmer sheets or your foils and your alcohol inks is not to get too heavy-handed, not to use your blending solution. And really, I don't use the blending tool like I said before. I just use, if I want to move it around, I just use a paper towel just to get in there just a little bit. Now I told you that alcohol inks and Copic markers are very similar, and they are. Here I've got another piece of foil, and again, see, it's all tattered up, it's dented. That's okay. When you die cut with it, it's going to be fine, but that is one of the differences between the shimmer sheet and the foil. Again, shimmer sheet, plastic, bends right back. Foil, just like tin. You move it, it's going to stay in place. So this time I want to grab my Copic markers, and I can just color straight on to my foil to change the color of the foil. I can just color straight to it and change it to whatever I want. And then if I want it to have a little bit of a distressed look to it, then I can take a little bit of my alcohol blending solution or a little bit of your Copic marker blending solution, just a little bit, and I can go in there and I can dab a little bit. Just a little, just to give it a little distressed look. Not too much because you don't want it to remove that gold again. You want to keep it so that that gold underneath is coming through and it does not change to silver. Just a little bit. I find when I'm doing this, if I use my blending tool, it picks it up too much. It's too hard on it. It picks up all of that color too easily. So now I've got just a little bit of distress on it. Same thing. I could put my leaf on it, cut my leaf, and have a beautiful leaf. And that's all done with your Copic markers. If I want more brown, I can just go back in and add more brown. You have the flexibility to do whatever it is you want to do with your Copics. You have a little bit more control with your Copics than you do obviously with the alcohol inks. And you can just layer color and color and color, and then if you wanted a little distressed, add just a hair bit of the alcohol ink blending solution, just a little bit, and get in there and just do a little dab. And that'll just distress it up just a little bit. And then I would put it through my Big Shot machine and cut a beautiful leaf. So Copic markers, alcohol inks. Now you can also use your Copic markers on your shimmer sheets because of course shimmer sheets are non-porous. And same thing, you would just go in there and color it to whatever you want. Color it to whatever you want. I mean, you can, it goes right over the top. And if you really wanted to, I mean lightly, just lightly. In fact, let's add some brown in there. Just lightly. You can go in there and just ever so lightly grunge it up a little bit and spread it around. Now I've done this piece right here using my Copic markers and the gold. And this is from the Spellbinders ribbon buckles set. It's this piece right here. So I took a basic piece of gold. Went in there with my Copic markers, just colored it all up, and then cut it out using this die right here. And that's what I got. It completely changes the look of the foil. You don't have to keep the foil the color that it is. You can make it whatever you want. Okay, we did this piece here, which is absolutely stunning. We did this piece here. I wonder if I've got something I can put it behind. How about a paper towel? We did that piece there using the alcohol inks and the gold foil, and that came from one of the brand new Christmas sets, this one here. And we just went ahead and put the ink right over the top of the foil, let it swirl around a little bit, moved it a little bit. In fact, the piece that it came from, let's see if I can find it. Oh, we did it on the darker color. That's what it started out as. Can you see all the colors just kind of randomly splotched down? And they mixed and they made darker colors. But when it was all done, that's what we got from it. Absolutely beautiful. Because with the foil, you can cut all of the wafer thin dies. Let's see. I've got my Christmas tree here. Again, done out of the foil. Now this Christmas tree hasn't been finished. This was done with this Spellbinder set, one of the new sets. It's a gorgeous set. All the new Spellbinder sets are gorgeous. But I wanted to show you how it started. There's the sheet of foil. Can you see all the colors and how dark it is? And most people would think it would look like mud, but it's not. We then cut the Christmas tree out, and then we need to go in and poke all the little pieces out. And because it's foil, it's kind of nice because then you can put everything back. But let me show you the card that we did. When this piece was all finished, this was the card we were able to make. Can you see the colors from the alcohol ink? Beautiful, isn't it? So the foil started, well, it started plain. It was a plain piece of foil, I don't know if it was just a plain piece of foil. We just threw our alcohol inks, the Ranger Tim Holtz alcohol inks, just threw them down, let them blend. Can you see how dark some of them are? Looks like mud. It's not, it's beautiful. Then we took our die and we die cut out the tree. And again, the die came from the 2012 holiday tree set from Spellbinders. We popped out all the little bits and pieces, and when we were done, this is what we were able to achieve. Gosh, and I hope you can see how beautiful that tree is. All using alcohol inks and the foils. Now, as much as I love Shimmer sheets, you're not going to be able to cut this tree out of the Shimmer sheets. You're just not. Lovely, isn't it? So again, we could have done it with our Copic markers. We could have done it with Bic markers or Sharpie markers, anything that's a permanent marker. That's what's really important. Or our Tim Holtz Ranger alcohol inks. So look at it, it's just beautiful. Look at the ribbon on the bottom. I mean, the ribbon piece is just absolutely gorgeous. So, moving on, we have shown alcohol inks and how to cut. We've shown how to do our Copic markers, Copic markers, where you just color right onto it and then cut out. And let me show you a few more samples of what we've got going on here. So here's another one we've done where we've used the alcohol inks and the Spellbinders. And this is from the same set as the tree. Same set as the tree. Oh, Yvette made this card. It's a beautiful card. And here is the beginnings of that one. I know it just looks like yuck, but it isn't. They're absolutely fabulous. And then we've got one more that Yvette did. Yvette's one of our SMS girls, and she makes the most stunning cards. So she cut we did the reindeer. We started with a piece of foil and alcohol inked up the foil and then cut the reindeer out to make this card. Just beautiful. And then we've got this sample here where we used the ribbon slide and our Copic markers. Can I get that all in there? Ribbon slide and Copic markers. Very, very easy to do. You can also emboss your foil. Let's see. Here we used the ribbon buckle set to make our Christmas card here and just slid it right on through. And this we just left in the gold. And you can see we cut and we embossed it. And then we did this one here. Same thing, we used just the ribbon buckle to do here. And I think this is the new paper by Fancy Pants. And this was our free make and take where we used the ribbon buckle and I left it just silver. We used that as the free make and take. And one of my favorite cards, Yvette did this one. Again, we used the ribbon buckle here and we embossed it and left it just in the natural metal. And last but not least, the cute little heart. Darling, isn't it? And those all came out of the ribbon buckle set by Spellbinders. So, what have we done? We have learned that there is a difference between Mylar and Shimmer sheets. Mylar bends. Shimmer sheets bend. I'm sorry, between Shimmer sheets and foil. Shimmer sheets and Mylar bend. Foil When you bend it, it stays right where you put it. It stays right there. The Shimmer sheets, the Mylar will bounce right back. They both are able to be embossed with any kind of an embossing folder. This one has been embossed, this Shimmer sheet has been embossed with a, I think that's a Sizzix embossing folder. And the foil can be embossed with any embossing folder. Both of them emboss beautifully. Both of them you can use alcohol inks with. You just need to be careful when using your blending solution because it will lift the base color of the foil or the shimmer sheet. This gold does not go all the way through. It's silver on the other side. So actually your foil is double-sided. You could do everything on the silver. Or if you only have gold left, I mean, and you want to make sure that you get your silver, you can either flip it around or take it all off, or if you want the silver to come through and have kind of a goldish and silver look, then you can do that. You just need to take a little bit of your blending solution, go in there, and it'll start to pull. It'll start to pull your color, and that'll give you a mottled gold and silver look. See how it's starting to pull the gold up? Can you see it starting to pull the gold up? And if that's the kind of distressed look you want, well then this is what you're going to use to get it. Because it will just literally wipe that gold right off and give you that old tarnished look. And maybe that's what you're going for. Maybe that's something that you need. That's the way you achieve it. But if you want a look like this, you're going to refrain from using your blending solution. Okay? And remember, you're just going to drop your alcohol inks. You're going to drop them and kind of let them move, kind of space them apart so they can blend into each other a little bit. And I know it kind of looks like mud, but when you're all done, when you let it dry, and then you cut with it, you get the most stunning results. Okay, same with your Copics. You just go in there, color, use a little bit of your blending solution to mush it around if you want, just a little bit, and then cut with it. All right, well, I have got to get to be Mary Poppins soon, so I am going to tilt on up, and let me show those Christmas cards one more time because they were just so beautiful. We've got the reindeer, which came out of this set here. We have got the Christmas ornaments and the Christmas tree, all done with the Ranger alcohol inks and the Spellbinders foils. And again, the foils come in 3 different packs. They come in the metals, precious metals, they come in the jewel tones, and they come in the delicate pastels. And of course we'll have them all on a YouTube Yummy. And some people have asked, what's a YouTube Yummy? Well, a YouTube Yummy is when we put the product that we have in the YouTubes on sale for 1 week past the original load date. So I am going to tilt on up, and I'm gonna say, holy smokes, I know this was a bit rambled, so thank you for staying with me. The store opens in like 5 minutes and I have to go get my Mary Poppins costume back on. So thanks for staying with us. If you want to shop for all of these products, they are going to be on sale. We'll put the Spellbinders on sale, we'll put the foils on sale, we will put the alcohol inks on sale. For 1 week past the original load date of this YouTube. And where are you going to find them? You're going to find them at www.shop@sms.com or www.shop@scrapbookingmadesimple.com or www.scrapbooking-made-simple.com. Now, I'm off to have a jolly holiday with Mary, so I'm going to go get changed, and our customers are going to come in for the shop hop, and if you're one of them, we hope to see you soon. And if you want to see some super cute pictures, go visit our Facebook page at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and you can see me dressed up with Mary with a lot of our customers. All right, guys, until next week, thank you so much, and have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.